Hey there. Are you thinking about moving to Scotts Valley but aren't sure what area would work best for you? Well, today I'll be going through the 111 Bean Creek condos, also known as the Hidden Oaks community. Now, this is a community that I lived in for close to 3 years, and I just moved out of it at the beginning of last year. So I really hope that you enjoy my in-depth perspective on it. In this video, I'll be doing a full map tour as well as a vlog style area tour where I get my feet on the ground, take you through the community, and I'm also going to take you through a few houses. That's going to be towards the end, so make sure to stick around, and I hope you have fun with this video. Hey guys, it's Jose Salas here with the Living in Scotts Valley channel and local realtor. If this is your first time here on any of my videos or this channel specifically is all about what it's like to live in Scotts Valley. So if you are considering moving here and you are still weighing out the options on whether it's right for you or not, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button so that way you can get updates on when I make videos. If there's a certain topic you want me to talk about or make a video about, please throw it in the comments. It's super helpful for me to be able to make very valuable information for you guys, and I want to stick to doing stuff like that rather than just blabbing. And lastly, if you're going to be making the move in the near future and very soon and you've already decided on that, give me a call or you can email me. My contact information will be in the description. Super excited for today. Alright guys, we're going to be jumping right into the map tour right now. After this, we're going to be jumping to the vlog where I'm going to be walking around in the Hidden Oaks community and checking out a few houses too towards the end, so make sure you stick around. So let's go do an overview here. So this is Scotts Valley, Highway 17, big connector between San Jose, Los Gatos, and Santa Cruz, and we're right here towards the end, closer to Santa Cruz, right? So this is one of the main roads right here, Mount Herman. This is the other main road, Scotts Valley Drive. Bean Creek, Bean Creek, the road, and Hidden Oaks is right here. So this is Bean Creek. This is Hidden Oaks, all the way up to, let's say these are the last units here, and they start over here. These were built in a couple different phases. They went to 5 different phases. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 5 is a little bit different than 1 through 4. 1 through 4 is all single level units. Single level, but they're still stacked. So you could either have a lower unit or an upper unit. And in phase 5, which is right here, all of these guys are 2-level properties. And I believe on tour today, when we go check out the 2 different floor plans, we'll be seeing a single level unit as well as a 2-level unit. I think the 2-level unit's a little beat up, but whatever, at least you guys will get the idea. I actually lived here a couple years ago, and I lived in phase 5, and the 2-story units, and they were cool, they were nice, they were a little bit bigger. If I ever had to live here again though, I think I would probably live in phase 1 through 4. I liked not having a neighbor under or over me, but one thing that I can say is that the floor plans felt very narrow, and it made me feel a little claustrophobic. So I think I'd like preference in the best possible world. I would probably live in an upper unit on a corner, a single level. But anyways, let's check out the area. So first off, there is all this commercial stuff over here and stuff to do. Nob Hill, you have a grocery store right here. All of this is it backs up to the complex. I can't see where it's at, but I want to say it's like right here, there's actually a gate that that people who live in here, they get a key to, so you could just walk through it and over here, which is really nice. I think it's closer to, I think it's just right here. Kind of hard to tell without it actually being on the map. It's actually right here. As I remember, you can see Eric's Deli Cafe as soon as you walk out of the gate. But anyways, that's super nice. And then, you know, if you're living over here, you'll probably use that a lot. If you're living in phase 1, there's another little exit entrance right here that you could just walk right onto the curb and just be right here. So that's pretty cool. Like, that's what I really loved about these things, is you could walk pretty much to everything. Over here is like, you'll probably be there the most. If you have kids or just like to go to a park, Sky Park's over here. I have another video about that whole area, but this is a really fun place to go to. Me and my wife used to walk to it at least once or twice a day, and it was really fun. The walk was, I'd probably say like 15 minutes, and yeah, sometimes we would just do a round trip over here and it'd be 30 minutes, and sometimes we would do the whole back trail with the whole scenic trail. And again, I have another video about Sky Park that actually has a vlog tour of all this. But that was a really nice walk, and you know, I think the whole back, when you do the whole back scenic route, it was about a 45-minute walk from these condos. And when we lived here, we lived pretty close to Bean Creek, so we would just jet on to Bean Creek down to Blue Bonnet, which is right here. But those are some of the things in the very, very immediate area. You also have the library right here, which is cool if you like to read and you have kids. They have different events over here. We used to walk to Cruise Cafe a lot. I've given them a couple shout outs before, like pretty much on every video. Really like that place. They have good bakery items, good food items, good coffee as well. There's, let's see here, a lot of things I can show you guys. Oh, schools. So one thing to take a note of is the middle school is right at the beginning of Bean Creek. So it's right across the street from you, which is great if you have middle schoolers that they could just walk to school. Obviously it's down the block. You just have to be a little conscious about what time, if you're leaving to work or anything, you know, just make sure it's not around school hours. It's not the worst thing in the world. It does get pretty backed up right here. But if it's really bad, what we would do is just basically go down Bean Creek to Blue Bonnet to Kings Village back to Mount Herman, just to avoid all of it, because it does get pretty backed up when people are dropping off their kids at school and picking them back up. If you have kids that are in elementary school or high school, there's a couple different options, and the elementary school and the high school is on the other side of town. It's probably like a 5-minute drive. They're over here, Vine Hill Elementary, as well as Scotts Valley High School, which is, let's see here, on Glenwood Drive, so right here. And then, you know, there's a lot of people that take their kids over here to Baymont, which is a private Christian school. It's elementary and middle school, no high school. And that's just right here. And there's also Brook Knoll as well. I think might be a good option if you commute to like Santa Cruz every day, but Brook Knoll is over here. So yeah, that's all in the Scotts Valley School District. Let's see here. Something that I forgot to mention about the actual complex, and I can't see it here. Let me see. Satellite. So there is a couple swimming pools and a couple hot tubs in here. So phase 5 right here towards the end. There's just a hot tub by itself over here, which is pretty cool. I used it a few times and there was really never anybody there. And there's a combo of a swimming pool and hot tub, which I've used that one before. I think there's another swimming pool hot tub combo down here. I've never touched this one. But you have access to those as well. The common downsides that I hear about this, or something that people complain a lot about Hidden Oaks, is the high HOAs. So they are, I think, currently $808 a month, and that is high compared to the rest of the area. Although HOAs are getting pretty high. So I'm just gonna throw out numbers here. This is what I normally see. For houses that are in a complex that maybe like a townhome, I usually see townhomes cost about $400 to $500. Sometimes a little bit lower if it's just like straight up, they're just mowing lawns and stuff. Condos I've seen between $500 to $600 in Santa Cruz, and kind of spiked a little bit more in the last 5 years because of home insurance rates and fire insurance. Bean Creek is by far the most expensive one, being at sitting at $800 a month. I think there's another condo complex over here at 311 Bean Creek, and they're pretty similar, but they do not have pool access. They don't have any hot tubs, anything like that. So, it's kind of give and take. If you think you would use a pool, it's a great option. Also, these units, you actually get a garage on the Hidden Oaks condos, 111 Bean Creek. You have a single car garage, which is not attached to your house, which is nice. And all the units are either 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or some of the ones in phase 5 are actually 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. So the ones on 311 Bean Creek, and I think those condo HOAs are like $500 to $600. I think that they're only 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and no garage, no swimming pool. So you pay a little bit extra, but you get a little bit more. And I personally think that they're a little bit nicer and bigger. Let's see here. Another good thing is freeway access. So because you're right here, you can hop onto the freeway pretty quick here. And it's really nice. This part's really never packed. And you just jump right onto 17. So if you're commuting over to Santa Cruz or San Jose, it's really close to the freeway. And it's actually a section that doesn't really get too packed unless something really, really bad happens. But everything past Scotts Valley Drive, all Mount Herman, during work hours seems to get a little bit more busy because people are using this road to get into the mountains, getting into Felton and beyond. So what I like about right here is a little 3rd lane pops up. So you have 2 lanes, and then keep going, and that just gets backed up. But a 3rd lane pops up really far, I think on Glenwood, right here. So you pop into this 3rd lane, and you could just pass through all the traffic and then turn right here onto Bean Creek. So you could just kind of jump the traffic there. It's really nice. Let's see. I kind of want to go through a couple other of the positives and negatives. So a couple positives is of course the price ranges. I see price ranges vary between $650 to about $800. The ones that are 2 levels are usually in the higher price range depending on the condition of it. I've seen them go for if they're pretty beat. There's one on the market right now that's under $650. That's a 2 level, which is pretty crazy. But I've also seen the bigger units when they're like corner units and the bigger floor plan, and it's not that much bigger either. I've seen those go for closer to the 800 range. It's been a while since that has happened though. That's when rates were a little bit lower, and that influenced price a lot. But a lot of the single level units sit between 650 to 700. I've sold both types in there, and actually the one I sold, a 2 level one, I sold that one for $675 when rates just started to pop up, and that one was a little bit dated. It showed well, it was just dated, so that's why it sold for a little bit less. And I just recently closed on one a couple months ago, and that one was probably the like most updated one I've ever seen in there. It was super turnkey with like custom cabinets, everything. Nothing was like done to just put like lipstick on a pig, so to speak. That one was super well done, and that one sold for $700, and that was a single level unit, top unit, corner unit, and yeah, we snagged that one for $700. Let's see, they just switched out this little place right here. This used to be a restaurant that not a lot of people went to. It was called Malone's. That just came out maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. It wasn't doing too well, unfortunately. And now they put in this place called Adorable French Bakery, and this place is always seems really packed, but that's in walkable distance. There's my Mexican restaurant right here. That place is pretty good. Auntie Mame's place has been around forever. I've been there a couple times. I'm not too crazy about it, but there's people that like it a lot. I haven't been to this place. Heard it's pretty good. It's another little Mexican restaurant. You're a couple minutes away from Target. You have a couple other things as well, like Safeway, bigger places. CVS, Walgreens is over here, or Walgreens is over here. Or I'm sorry, over here, and then CVS is over here. You have a sushi place. All this stuff is just super walkable distance. If you're here and you find out that you need to go to Santa Cruz, but 17 is packed going towards Santa Cruz, you could also just drive this way on the Lockwood, and that'll take you right on the Graham Hill, and you can pop into Santa Cruz that way. Sometimes I do that when I want to go to Costco, because it's right here, and it's just a little back way, because 17, this little end strip can get a little congested towards the end right here, especially around work time hours. But yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys. Let me see here. Just taking one more quick peek. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. So let's get on to the vlog. All right, guys, I just pulled up right now. Make sure I lock my truck. First thing I wanted to show you guys was the gate over here that leads to Nob Hill. So when you are a homeowner in here, you'll get a key and you can walk to Nob Hill and everything that you need to over there. Here's kind of another thing that I want to show you too. They have maps all over the place. This is super helpful, but we're right here right now. So this is phase 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So we're gonna go check out 80 first, unit 80, which is on the market. And that one is one of the single level options. And then we'll check out the other one after. All the the 2-story ones are in like the 170, 180 numbers. But before we do that, let's check out one of the pool areas so I can show you guys what that looks like. But you can see it's all super cute and nice. It's all really well manicured. A lot of green trees, redwoods. It does get a little bit loud on that side, so if you do own a condo close to this side, I know in the mornings you could hear like the trucks and stuff at like dumping supply at Nob Hill. For the most part, I really liked living over here. Everybody was super nice. And just feels really fresh being in here. You're just you have all the greenery, but you're not in the mountains. They're completely surrounded and engulfed by a bunch of trees. Hopefully there's nobody at the pool. I'd be weirded out if I take a video. Actually, one of my clients that I sold a house to up there, they get pool views. They love that the house is by the pool because they have a daughter that really wanted a pool. So this is one of the pool areas. don't think it's open year around. But you could see there's a hot tub in the corner and a regular swimming pool. All right, let's go find unit 80. This can feel like a maze sometimes. There's you can have animals here. They have a two animal limit, so you can have a dog or 2 dogs, or a dog and a cat, or 2 cats. I don't think that they're really that like strict on it or intrusive on making sure that that gets upheld. I don't know if they really have a weight limit on dogs either. I remember seeing bigger dogs in here and a variety of different breeds. So this is an upstairs corner unit we were talking about. But this is probably one of my more ideal units because the decks are bigger, floor plans are they feel a lot more wider. Okay, let me get this key really quick. This is what a lot of the original doors look like. I think they just stained all of them last year. I remember I was living there when they stained the doors, and they just re-roofed every unit in here as well. So these are all brand new roofs, probably like 1 to 2 years old, because they started phase 1 about 2 years ago. They used to be clay roofs. Now they switched to composition. But yeah, let's see if I can crack a light in here. That's not that bright. Well, there's not really a light in here. But depending on the unit that you're in, some of them get a lot of sunlight. Some of them have sunlights. This one doesn't. It feels pretty dark in this unit. Just might be why it's been sitting for a little bit, a couple weeks, and there's kind of a bit more inventory than normal in here. But on these units, you get when I say these units, the top units are just a single level units. The decks are a lot bigger. When you have a 2-story, well, I'll show it to you when we get there, but there's 2 small decks, again, because it's narrow. And then you have access to another hot tub here, which I never knew was there. I haven't been to that one, but it's pretty nice, quiet. Usually there's just a little storage shed out here too. So they're using it for storage here. All these have fireplaces too, which is cool. Some people converted theirs to gas. A lot of people, most of them are just wood burning. This one's wood burning. These kitchens are usually closed off. There's very few that I've seen opened up, including the 2-story models. Bathroom, the guest bathroom, or actually, whoa, I've never seen this before. Huh. Well, this one has 2 bathrooms that connect to each other. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen this floor plan before. But here's the other bathroom. That's a trip. Oh, you know what? This is the smallest floor plan available. This is 930 square feet. So basically, it's sharing a shower and has 2 toilets. There are two half baths, I guess, that connect to the shower. I've never seen that. I've seen a lot of single level units in here, and have usually they're still about 1,000 square feet, and they don't do that usually. So let's check out the bedrooms. This is definitely a smaller size one. I guess that one would be considered the primary since it's attached to one of the bathrooms. Here's the other bedroom. The 2-story one that I lived in, the second bedroom was really small. Like, I feel like a king size bed would take up the whole entire room. But they did have different floor plan options that were that had a bigger second bedroom. Here's the kitchen. Most of them have original bay windows. This does not look like the original bay window, unless they painted it, but I'm pretty sure this is just vinyl. Most of them are original, like, black aluminum bay windows. It's pretty, especially with all the scenery outside. It's super nice. These are not original cabinets. Somebody updated this at some point. Couple storage spaces. Stackable wash and dryer. And another storage space. I'm trying to think about where the water heater, there's the water heater, this is the furnace. The water heater, where was it? On my unit, it was, I don't remember where it was now that I think about it. I think it was outside. Oh yeah, it was. It was, in my unit, it was outside and on the ground level patio. And then, yeah, I don't know where the water heater is on this one. Pretty sure I don't see anything there. No, it's not in here. Well, there's a furnace and you only get cold water. I'm just kidding. These do have water heaters. I just have no clue where it's at on this particular unit, which is smaller. But that's it. I'm gonna hit the lights in here, and we can go to the next one. Actually, I didn't see that, but this has 2 closets, 2 smaller closets in the primary. Pretty neat. This is how they're actually all set up on the single level units. The water heater's right in the front here. It's locked right now, but it's in there. They're usually just standard water heaters. They're not tankless or anything. Unless you want to get that conversion. Let's go check out unit 174. Walk back on the street. Yes, I almost fell downstairs. There's no downstairs unit ones right now that are available to see, unfortunately, but they're very similar to that. Most people want the upstairs units because they don't want people stepping above them, but I do notice that downstairs units do sell pretty quick sometimes, or often, I'll say that, and that's because the price point and everything's on a slab. So it's a really, really good option for people who cannot do stairs. So you can get a ground floor 1,000 square foot condo for like 650 to 700. And I think since the market's been kind of slowing down this let's say like the last year and a half, since Q4 of 2022, I feel like you can probably get them for a little bit lower now, maybe in the 630 to 660 range, depending on the condition, of course. So these are the garages. You'll get a some garage clickers, and there's a, you can set a little password on that thing. I wish I could see a garage. They're not that deep though. Like, you see my Jeep truck, I had a rack in my garage, like one of those stainless steel wire racks that was probably like 1.5 to 2 feet in depth, and I was barely able to squeeze my Jeep in the truck, or Jeep in the garage. So we usually had my wife's car in there, which is a Jeep Compass, and it's a lot more shorter. So, but the garages have lights. They have you can, electrical in there. They don't want you like running refrigerators or anything like that. But the electricity in there is covered by the HOA. It's not separately metered, which also makes it tough if you have an electric car, because you won't be able to charge it. If you have a Tesla, there actually is, I don't think I'll be able to see it from here, but in front of Knob Hill, which is basically right there, there is a Tesla charging station. So they have a bunch of superchargers over there. Yeah, but when I had a garage here, I had that wire rack that I was telling you about, and I had a half rack for weightlifting, and I think I put some horse stall mats on the ground, and it worked pretty good. I was able to park a car and lift weights in the garage. So we're at 174 now. These ones are nice. They back up to this next community. This is 211 Bean Creek. Those are townhomes that are a bit bigger. Those are like, you share one wall, and I think they're all 3 bedrooms. Price point's a little bit higher on those though. I think those go for like between like in the 1-2 range. All right, guys, hold on real quick. I have to put booties on because I don't want to take off my shoes. All right, so this is a reverse floor plan. So let's go check out the kitchen first, or upstairs. This is a little on the dated side. It's all carpet, but see what I mean? Just feels, this is the exact floor plan that I lived in, but it's really narrow. And this is the patio that you get. Same storage that we showed you on the other unit, but it's a very narrow patio. You get 2 of these. So I used to just barbecue up here, and downstairs I used to have not really an area that I hung out. I just had a cold plunge down there when I lived here. But I do love the vaulted ceilings and the skylights. I did always appreciate, like, even though it's small, made it feel a lot bigger. And this is, so for reference, The last unit that we went in was 930 square feet. This is 100 square feet bigger at 1,040. This is the kitchen. I don't think I've really ever seen one of these, like with this all knocked out, because I think the HVAC stuff goes through there. That would be pretty cool to see this knocked out. It would make it feel a lot bigger and better. This is the kitchen. But yeah, these all have HVAC, heat, or forced heat. None of these really have ACs. I've only seen little mini split ACs put into these. This bathroom's pretty dated. This model's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Or I've actually seen like the actual box ACs. I've seen that in one of these units. But a lot of stuff in Scotts Valley does not have AC unless it's like a newer construction. These were all built in the 80s. Just a lot of typical Scotts Valley construction is between 70s and 80s. Let's check out downstairs. What I did appreciate about this floor plan was that I typically run really hot, and I actually really liked having the bedrooms downstairs for summers because they stayed really nice and cool. Because there is the other floor plan to where the kitchen and living room are downstairs, but those ones are a little bit more expensive. Those are 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And yeah, they have the bedrooms upstairs, 2 bathrooms upstairs, and a half bath downstairs. But this is the primary. But yeah, those other floor plans, your bedrooms are just like always hot in the summer, and it can get pretty hot over here. But here's the patio downstairs. They usually stick out a little bit more, so you have like this little cemented pad, and then looks like they added more cement over there, but that's usually just dirt. And then in there is your water heater and a little bit of storage. Or actually, water heater and furnaces in there. There's no like can lights in here or recessed lights. Usually you just run lamps in here. And then you have a full bath in here. In the room the one that I had, we actually sealed this off and remodeled the bathroom, so that way there was no just door frame there. And then we had a sink right here, which was really random. I don't think that's how they come, but oh yeah, it is, because there's plumbing fixtures right here. So there's supposed to be just a random sink right here, so that way you have a his and her sink type of situation. You have laundry is usually right here, or laundry connections are right here, and just a little small like towel storage closet right here. Let me see here. And then the closet's pretty big, or decent in these compared to the other unit where there was like 2 small closets. But the units that I'm showing you today are pretty beat up, a little bit on the dated side. This one looks like it's in rougher condition. Some of these can get really nice. This is the smaller size of the second bedroom. This is the same size that I had. It feels really small. When we lived here, we did not have my son, and we used it as an office. And my wife had a little like a yoga mat and a little bit of stuff, and that was really all that we could do with it. But I don't know how much stuff that we have now. Living in a 3-bedroom with my son, I don't think we could live in. Well, we can make it work, but they're kind of small. But that's it, guys. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I could show you in the community. Let me close up this one. Let's see here. Let's walk this way. So I'll walk you guys to the front of Bean Creek so you can see that parking lot and just what Green Creek, the street, looks like. Maybe I could point, oh, actually I showed this on the map, so I'll show this right now. This is the second hot tub area. This is the one that I use every once in a while. I don't really ever see many people use the hot tubs here. Most of the time, just the swimming pools are what are being used. Mostly for mostly kids and stuff, running little summer parties and having friends and stuff. This is an area that usually you see a lot of families, a lot of small families, especially with like the convenience of being so close to the middle school and Sky Park. But I always remember seeing like families of 3, 4, like elderly here as well, especially on the bottom floor units like I was telling you. Walking up to the street. This is actually getting pretty close to where I used to live. Oh yeah, there's dumpsters. That's part of your HOA. You have recycle bins and dumpsters for trash. This was actually the unit that I used to live in, 148. It's a pretty cool place. I loved it. You have mailboxes right here. That was my garage before. But walking up to Bean Creek Road here. Look at that, it looks like another sign's going up. These things are been a lot on the market lately. Especially after HOAs have just been kind of going up. I mean, I think they've always been 800 as like when I lived there. But there was a time where it was lower. And you know, before like the second half of last year, these things were kind of hard to get. Like it always seemed like there was one on the market at a time. But now there's like 2 or 3 on the market with another 2 coming on. It's pretty crazy. It really shifted. So I don't know if it'll stay like that because rates have really been kind of in the same ballpark for the last 2 years between the 6.5 to like 7.25, just kind of jumping up and down. But downside about living closer to this side is you can hear the street a little bit. I mean, I live pretty close to the street at the unit that I was telling you about, and I never really heard the street. I don't know if you live closer to one of those units, you might hear it a little bit more. But this is the middle school. This is where I was telling you it gets super packed during drop-off and when people are picking up their kids. Basically, this whole road gets backed up to right here because all the parents turn in right here. And then it does get a little packed on this right side too because people have to turn to get into that lane. But usually you can kind of swing around them. So, and then it gets really congested too at the light because people are trying to leave again. So a lot of times I would go out the exit that we just did, find out that it was completely packed here, and I would just turn back into here, go right back out, and then go the way that I was telling you guys on Bluebonnet. But yeah, guys, that's really it. Pretty much everything else is the same here. Really hope you guys enjoyed that tour today. I'm gonna keep doing more of these area tours, and if you think those are helpful, make sure to subscribe. And of course, if there's an area that you want to see or information that you guys want to see pertaining to living in Scotts Valley, throw it in the comments, please. That'd be super helpful. And when you're ready to move over here, give me a call. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next area tour. Bye.